sort of set a mission for himself to write music for student players that uses what we call extended techniques. So not just the typical using the bow and plucking, but other ways of making music and making sounds. I won't say more than that, so we'll leave a little bit surprised. But there are 3 short pieces that are the kind of 3 movements of a piece. So we'll ask you to hold your applause till the end of the 3rd one. So welcome, thank you for being here, and we're excited to share this music with you tonight. Please welcome the 7th grade orchestra. We'll be performing two very different pieces for you tonight. The first short piece by Mozart. Sandra Dachau is one of probably the greatest arrangers of music for student orchestra. And she chose this Mozart piece because it really exemplifies Mozart's style. It's light and fun and airy and has to be played with really, really appropriate Mozart style, which we've been working on, and I think the students do a great job of capturing. So we hope you enjoy it.
Our next piece was written by Doug Spada, inspired by the South Asian holiday of Diwali. He took inspiration from the music from Bollywood movies, rhythmic, and as well as some harmonics like notes from that type of music. Very different than the Mozart we just played, and we're really excited to share it with you.
right, please welcome the 8th grade orchestra to the stage. As 8th graders going into this fall, I thought, we need to challenge them some more. How can I challenge them? We've played a lot of different styles, different levels of difficulty, and I said, everything we've played has been in one of 2 meters, basically, in 2, 4, or 3, 4, or basically 2 or 3 beats per measure. So let's up the difficulty. So this piece by Merle J. Isaac is called Quinto Quarto. All the movement names are little like puns on counting, and they're in the time signatures of 5/4 and 7/4. So instead of counting 1, 2, 1, 2, we're counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Or I'll leave you to figure out what the 7 one is in the last movement. So these are 3 movements. We'll ask you to hold your applause till the end, where we are going to show you all different ways to count 5 and 7. the scenes. The thing about string instruments is they're made of wood. They're almost alive, we sort of say, because that wood changes with the weather. And when you have a very cold, very dry week like we're having, the wood shrinks, the pegs slip, and the instruments go out of tune. And if there's one theme of this week, it is pegs slipping and instruments going out of tune. So the students have been real troopers about it. It might happen again tonight, I'll warn you, although it's warm in here, which is nice. We have a very, very special guest for this next piece by Satie, a beautiful piece that you may recognize, and we are very excited to welcome from our high school orchestra, Charlotte Dorr on the harp. It is January, which means the NYSSMA season is upon us already. So if your child is interested in doing NYSSMA solo festivals this year, they split it up by what level of piece they're doing. So if they're doing a level 1 through 4 piece, that registration is actually now open. I'll be sending an email next week about that. And then levels 5 and 6, that'll open soon. So if you're thinking about doing NYSSMA, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, that's far in the future. It's actually now, you need to pick your piece, and that registration is gonna be happening. The other one is harp, classical guitar, and piano. Registration is open for all 3 of those instruments, and piano is early this year. So those of you who've done piano, I'll send that email next week. So just a little logistical thing I wanna mention while you're all here. Really excited for you to hear the high school. We're going to start with the combined high school orchestras doing 2 pieces, and then the honors orchestra is going to be doing whole suite. So we'll just take a minute to get ourselves configured here. And then the first piece we'll be performing is the first movement of Schubert's Unfinished Symphony. Now, when I was a kid, I always imagined that this piece just like ended abruptly in the middle of a phrase. That's not true. He had finished the first and second movements, and then he put the piece aside and then never returned to it. We don't know why. It's an absolutely beautiful piece. It's considered like one of the best symphonies for orchestra, but he put it aside and never touched it again. We don't know why. Schubert is especially famous for his songs, for his vocal works. And so even his pieces that don't have a singer, we're always trying to find some kind of story or almost like it's a song, and you can kind of hear that in this piece. We listened to one of his famous songs called Die Erlkönig, which is kind of a spooky poem, and we've used that to help us in preparing this. So we'll just take a minute to move some chairs and get settled, and then we're excited to share this music. The next piece we're performing is by a contemporary composer, he's still alive, not 200 years deceased, named Chris Pilsner, called Fireflight. And in his words, Fireflight is my musical vision of the story of the Phoenix, which was the mascot of his school, which commissioned this piece once he was an adult. The introduction of the piece evolves from embers slowly burning amongst the ashes to the remarkable rebirth of this magnificent creature. As the tempo picks up, the bird takes flight, as the music alternates between 7/8 and 2/2 time signatures. We've got another 7 meter in this piece. As the phoenix reaches the middle of its flight, the music recalls a harmonic progression from the introduction, symbolically evoking the struggle to rise from the ashes and take flight once again. as we set up for our final piece with the Honors Orchestra, just want to also point out, you may have noticed some students moving around between different instruments. We have a few different students who are actually doubling on viola, from violin, and even from cello, which is pretty cool. I also really want to say thank you personally for all of your flexibility with this concert. Obviously, hey Charlotte, obviously being sick on a concert day is basically my worst nightmare. And every minute I was like, I'm gonna make it, and then it truly was impossible. So thank you so much. It really means a lot how flexible people have been, and we're really, really thrilled to be sharing this music with you, because the students have worked so hard in it all year, and this is such a rewarding experience to get to perform it. So our final piece from the Honors Orchestra, Gustav Holst's St. Paul's Suite, uses some different folk melodies from the British Isles as kind of the inspiration point, but then Holst, who's writing in the early 1900s, is going to do a lot of different things with those tunes. We'll hear solos from a number of folks in the orchestra. And in the final movement, he does what we might call a mashup. He's actually going to take two melodies, one that we hear in the piece, and one that you may recognize. It's a melody we actually usually hear around the holiday time. He's going to have them happening at the same time. That's